This drone story is so freaking wild, and the more the story blows up, the bigger the mystery gets. But there is one thing that we do know for certain now. This story has gotten so big, it's one of the biggest news stories in America. It's spreading across the world, so whoever is behind these drones, they're aware that they're in the news now. They're aware that we're aware that they're there. You know what I mean? The news story is all over the place. So whoever is behind this, as they continue to fly these drones, they're now flying them knowing that the whole world is well aware that this is happening. So what I want to do now is I want to watch this situation very closely. I want to watch to see if these drones react to the news. And what I mean by that is, listen, you got all types of different senators and congressmen and the military and the Coast Guard, different police agencies speaking out. I want to see if I can notice a difference in drone activity. I want to see if the drone activity changes according to what's being discussed in the news. For example, if one state says they're going to crack down harder than another state, will we see less drones flying over those areas? If one city says, hey, we got this new technology to stop the drones, will the drones not go to those areas? I want to see how aware whoever is operating these drones, I want to see how aware they are of the news cycle. I want to see if they react in any way, shape, or form. Because there's one thing that I find very, very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. I've been watching this situation play out for over a month. And the White House, the Biden administration, they weren't saying anything. For the longest, no one was really talking about it until the last couple of days. But I find it extremely odd that once the White House came out and they tried to downplay the situation, they tried to say it wasn't real, they tried to say it was no big deal, then and only then, all of a sudden, the very next day, all of a sudden we get news that, airports are having to shut down because of the drones. Now, mind you, I've been watching this play out for over a month, and airports weren't getting shut down. Yeah, the drones were all over the place. They were flying over military bases, but we weren't hearing about flights being stopped, airports being shut down, runways being shut down. But now, ever since the White House came out and tried to act as if this isn't a real problem, it's almost like we've seen a response. And I'm not saying this is the case for sure. I just find it odd that once the White House came out and downplayed this, all of a sudden it seems like the drones took it up a notch. All of a sudden, now we see drones at other military bases across America. All of a sudden, now these drones are stopping flights, shutting down airports in New York. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this problem has spread to Ohio. In fact, I have flight control audio that we're going to be listening to in just a moment, because now mysterious drones were spotted flying above the Wright Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. And they had to shut down flights. They had to shut down air activity, or whatever you want to call it, for hours because of these drones. I want to go ahead and listen to this audio, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
Patterson Tower, Med Flight 8, 1,900 feet, about 7 miles southwest of the field, like transition your Delta northeastbound.
Med Flight 8 Patterson Tower, use extreme caution for heavy UAS movement on the base. Security forces is handling the situation. Suggest at or above 1,700 AGL.
That we will maintain 2,000 and on our transition for Med Flight 8.
And I gotta keep the lights down so that security forces can see.
Roger that, no problem.
Position approved, sir.
Approved, Med Flight 8.
Med Flight 8 Tower.
Medflight 8.
Hey, sir, you're still approved through our Class Delta. After you leave, Columbus is going to sterilize the Class Delta as of 0330 Zulu. Patterson Class Delta is closed after your transition.
I'm sorry about that. You got stepped on by other traffic. Can you say again?
Yes, sir. Your transition is still approved. However, Patterson Class Delta is sterilized as of 0330 Zulu for heavy unknown UAS activity. Security Forces is handling it, and Columbus is going to sterilize the airspace after you leave the Delta.
Roger that. No problem. Thank you.
All aircraft use extreme caution. Patterson Class Delta is now closed for heavy UAS activity.
I know, wild, right? But let's go ahead and dive into a tidbit more information about what's going on here. Wright Patterson Air Force Base has confirmed the closure of their airspace Friday night due to drones in the area. Bob Perdyman, Chief of Public Affairs, said the airspace was blocked for around 4 hours late Friday night into early Saturday. Units are monitoring the airspace for the drones, called Small Unmanned Aerial Systems. To date, installation leadership has determined that none of the incursions impacted the base, residents, facilities, or assets. A nearby resident, Ryan Zamuda, has been following the situation very closely. He says that obviously there's a big concern for national security here. It seems as if people could just fly them around in unrestricted airspace, Zamuda said. If they are shutting down the airspace, then it kind of makes you wonder, what are they worried about there? Base personnel ask anyone to contact local police or security if they witness any suspicious drone activity. News Center 7 has reached out to the Department of Defense and the Air Force for information on whether or not these drones are connected to the drone sightings in the Northeast. So it's crazy how once the news started really following this situation closely, it seems as if the problem just got so much worse. Because I was watching this play out for weeks in New Jersey, seeing the videos roll in, listening to what the local media had to say about it, but it wasn't like a nationwide story. Not many people were talking about it. A lot of the people in my comment section will tell you, we were kind of talking about this before most people were. But all of a sudden, once the story got big, it's like the drone activity picked up tenfold. Now, is that because the media is just now reporting this? Maybe that could be the reason behind some of this, but you know, as I was saying before, we weren't hearing about airports being shut down and runways being shut down and flights being stopped until the media started covering the story. So it's almost as if, you know, there's a reaction here, a reaction to the media coverage, a reaction to more attention, a reaction to the White House downplaying this. Now, maybe I'm wrong, and I'm not telling you that this is for a fact what's happening here, but you can't deny, if you've been following this, that the drone activity has changed now that the media is all the way behind the story, and now that the White House has claimed that this isn't going on. So, I don't know. You tell me what you think. All I know is tomorrow we're going to wake up, or the next day we're going to wake up, and it's going to be another city, another city. I mean, now we're talking about Ohio. You know, just yesterday we were talking about, oh, this is New Jersey, now New York, now Pennsylvania. It's getting wild, and I fully expect that we're going to have stories like this one coming out of every state soon. But for now, let me know your thoughts below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next video.